We are recording this session, and we will be posting a copy of this seminar on the Chicago School website. If you have questions during the seminar, you are in listen mode only. Please go ahead and type in the chat room. I'll be moderating those questions, and Professor Lorndorf will be stopping here then to answer some of those questions. So again, I'd like to welcome you, and let me share a little bit with you about Professor Lorndorf. Jillian holds a Bachelor's of Arts from Diploma. Yes?
Apologies because I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. Maybe I'm not exactly sure if it's the connection or if it's the phone, but little trouble hearing you.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. Is it more clear now?
Yes, that's better.
Okay, good. Let me start over with Jillian's introduction. She holds a Bachelor of Arts from DePaul University and a Master's of Library and Information Science from the University of Illinois at Champaign-Urbana. She has been with the Chicago School since 2013, where she's currently focused on electronic resources and works with both the Chicago and online campuses. She spends much of her time working with students on their research. When she's not at work, she can be found reading or hiking with the family dog. And let me just share with you a recent encounter I had with Jillian. She was able to help me in finding resources for one of the undergraduate courses in psychology. So Jillian is an excellent resource for us, and I think you're really going to enjoy the presentation this evening. So Jillian, I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Paula and Dr. Grant. I appreciate you having me here today. Hello, everyone. I'm Jillian. I'm one of the librarians at the Chicago School. I am affiliated with both the Chicago campus as well as the online campus. We do have librarians at all of the campuses, and so what we're going to talk about today is applicable to all the campuses. We're going to talk about how to find some resources and where to go for help. We're going to cover a lot of information in a pretty short amount of time, so I really want to encourage you that if you have any follow-up questions, to reach out to your campus librarian. Don't be shy. We're here to help, and we really enjoy working with students. No questions too small or too big. With that said, we're going to get started. Today we're going to cover how to get help, who to contact, where to find them. We're going to go over the library catalog. Then we're going to talk about specific databases. And lastly, we're going to talk about some of the other library services that we have. The first thing to do is to think about how you can get help. There are two ways. You can ask someone for help, or you can do it on your own. This is going to take you to the library homepage. For those of you who have not been here, this is findable through the Chicago School website. You can go to current students and then library resources. Any of those will take you to the library website there. If you ever want to navigate back to the landing page, it's just going to be local campus info, and then you can select the campus that's most appropriate to you. Got a few tabs open here. On each of the campus homepages, you're going to have contact information. So here's the Chicago campus. You can see the librarians here. That's me. You'll have some of our contact information as well as the library's general contact information. Depending on what you need, you can contact whoever you'd like. You can go straight to a librarian, or you can write into the general email, or you can phone. For LA, they're going to have information here. One of the librarians. You'll also notice that there is a How Do I tab here on the library website. This is going to be for things that you'd like to explore yourself. We have lots of tips and tricks on this page. Everything from guides on how to do research, or if you're going through a particular experience at Chicago School, like study abroad, or you're an international student. This is a good place to find some resources. We link to specific database resources, different videos, as well as PDFs and guides that will help you. We have lots of other tips down here at the bottom. These are PDFs to kind of help you understand specific resources. So if you're looking to improve your research knowledge, this is a good place to go and poke around. But again, you can also just ask one of the librarians. We're also more than happy to schedule a one-on-one appointment with you where we walk through any of these resources in detail about a paper that or a project that you're working on. This is a really great resource for dissertation students in particular. You can work specifically on your topic. All right, so now we're going to move straight into searching the library catalog, and we're going to talk about a few different things. There we go. So when you search the library catalog, you are going to be looking for this search box here. You'll notice we've seen this before. It's in a number of places on the website. We really want to make it easy for you to find. So it's on all the campus pages. It's on all of these find pages, find books, find media, find articles. And it's going to be the same for pretty much everyone. You're going to put some search terms into the box here, and then you're going to select a specific campus to search. So let's start nice and broad, psychology. You'll see that it is reminding me that I do need to select a library to search. Because I'm most familiar with it, I'm going to start with the Chicago Library. Now the reason why it's broken out differently is because each campus has different print materials. We all share electronic materials, so if you search this, you'll be able to get information on our electronic materials. However, if you're looking for specific print resources, you will have to select that specific campus. Based on this search, we have quite a few results here, 4 million. The Chicago School subscribes to a number of databases. Some of these are citation only, some of these are abstract only, and some of these are full text. When you do a general search, you'll be searching all of the databases with the exception of just one, and that's our dissertation database. We'll talk about that in a moment. It's something separate for copyright reasons. So this is searching the library catalog is a really great place to start your research because you will get a little bit of everything. Just to tell you about this results list that you're looking at, you'll notice that it's defaulting to search libraries worldwide. This is purposeful on our part. We really want to be clear that scholarship extends beyond the Chicago School, that there's resources worldwide that you would want to have access to. If we do not have something available for you at your fingertips in full text, we can help you get it through our very robust interlibrary loan program, and that's something that I will show you in a moment as well. But keep that in mind that this is going to be reaching out to resources beyond what we have immediately at our fingertips. You'll also notice that it's sorting by both library and relevance. That means that it is doing a relevance ranking, but it's putting things that we do have access to towards the top. So here it's showing some print books that we have access to, an ebook that we have access to, a journal that we have access to, and if we change this to relevance, we may get some things that maybe we don't have immediate access to. But again, we can get for you through our interlibrary loan program. Yep, for example, here is a print book. We don't own it, but this is something that you're interested in, we can help you get it. With that said, I totally get that sometimes the paper is due tomorrow or even next week, and you don't really have time to go tracking down things. For that, we do have this handy button for full text. You can select that, and it will only search the databases that we have full text access to. And then you can go ahead and you would, for anything that we do have immediate access to, you see this little orange E. You can either click the title or click this View Now button. You can click on that. It will prompt you for your credentials, Chicago School credentials, same thing that you log into Canvas with. And then it will click through and it will take you directly to the item. You can see here that this is an ebook. EBSCO publishes theirs by chapter, so you would be able to then open these up and you would have the PDF available to you. You'll also notice that we do have some other filters over here on the side. I'm going to go ahead and remove this full text filter. And you'll notice there are some other helpful things here. Peer-reviewed articles is a big help. Sometimes you just need some articles. You can go ahead and limit this to peer-reviewed. You know that they're going to be scholarly, they're going to be academic, which is very helpful. Or, for example, you might need a print book, or if you're an online student, maybe you're only interested in ebooks. you can go ahead and use the filter over here to limit your searches. You can also go ahead and use some of these filters down here. I think an easier way to do this is to use the advanced search. If you go into the advanced search, you can put in your search terms. You can also put in a date range. So let's say I'm looking for things that are much more recent, only in the last 5 years or so. And I do want only peer-reviewed articles. I can put all of that in, and I can hit search, and I will have a filtered results list. Now, you'll notice here that we're still getting 500,000 results. That's way too many. It's really not, feasible for any one person to be going through. So in that case, we need to start thinking about our search terms. There's a couple things that you can do in order to make your life a little bit easier in selecting your search terms. For example, this is prompting you for a keyword search here. That's what the KW means. It comes up when you use the advanced search. But what you're going to be using here is, let's say you want to string several words together. Let's say you're interested in doing a paper on women leaders in the workplace. So you would go ahead and search the word women, and, which you're going to capitalize so that you include both women as well as the other keyword searches, workplace and leader. Now I'm going to go ahead and just put the root word leader here and put an asterisk at the end. This is going to search all iterations of this word. It's going to search both leader and leadership. This is really important for words that have all different endings. Like psychology, I'll often just search psych with an asterisk at the end, because that way I'll get psychology and psychologist, all kinds of things. So let's go ahead and search this. And I'm down to 8,000. That's still too many, but let's say I wanted to go ahead and filter this to peer-reviewed. I can always do that and continue to narrow it down. I can also narrow it down by date range as well. And then I would start to have access to a much more manageable list of results as I keep narrowing it down. Does anyone have any questions about this piece of it, searching in the catalog?
Hi, Jillian. There are no questions at this point.
Great. Great. I'm going to take that as meaning I'm being super clear and everyone's really familiar with this. So then moving on, let's think about where we would want to go with our research next. Like I said, all of our databases are searchable in our library catalog with the exception of one, ProQuest dissertations. However, there are advantages to using specific databases, and a lot of them have to do with filters and thinking about your search words. In any research process, I always recommend having a list of search words written down beside you as you go through the process. You'd want to go through and add to that and adjust it as you work through the research process. And in that sense, it's helpful to go through the databases because they can help prompt you with various search words. So I'm going to go back to the library website here, and under this Find Books, Media, and Articles tab, there's a drop-down for Find Articles and Journals. If you click that, you'll notice that on this page there's a list of 3 databases here. These are our 3 largest, EBSCO, ProQuest, and Sage. Sage is technically our largest database. They're the world's 5th largest database publisher. It's massive, but it doesn't have as many bells and whistles as ProQuest and EBSCO. For that reason, I like starting with EBSCO. I like its interface the best, and I think it has the most helpful tools in order to think about my search terms. When you click this, you'll come to this page, and it's just telling you that it's searching all of its sub-databases. That's a good thing for us because we're really interested in getting as much information as possible. And then I can go ahead and do a search on, you can recreate my search here. So women, workplace, and I'm just going to go ahead and filter it down to leadership. I'm going to do a search, and I've got 4,600 results here. So I can go through and use the filters on the left-hand side to narrow my results again. Let's say I'm interested in scholarly journals only, and 1952 is a little dated for me. Let's bring it up to at least 2010. 661. That's still a lot, but we're narrowing it down more and more. So now I need to think about my search terms. You'll notice that in the results list, you can see the subjects listed here, and this will help me think about how other people are talking about the same concepts that I am, but perhaps they're using slightly different language. So you have a couple choices. You can scroll through this and kind of eyeball things. I'm seeing specific words like leadership styles, leadership effectiveness. I'm seeing lots of subcategories for women, types of jobs that women might have. This is giving me some things to think about, some search results that I might be using, and I'm going to add them to my list. And you should search different combinations of things because different combinations will give you slightly different results lists. So you can scroll through this list of results and kind of work through it that way. Or you can also come over to the filters on this left-hand side. This is the part that I really like EBSCO for. They do have some ways to take a look at the subject terms in a macro level. So if you click on this subject thesis terminology breakout, you can see all of the words that are tagged in these articles. So for example, 62 articles talk about diversity in the workplace. 56 articles talk about women employees. So you can use this in order to kind of adjust your search terms and think about some other words that people might be using. For example, corporate culture, job satisfaction, gender role in the work environment. And then you can kind of adjust your search based on what you found. Thesaurus, major heading, and then just straight subject are all going to be slightly different because they have to do with the tags that the author has supplied, the publisher has supplied, and then the individual that's cataloged this record for the database, what they have supplied. You can take a look at all of those. And then if you scroll down, there's also a classification breakout. And this is going to be the most macro. It's going to tell you how many are about, just generally about personnel attitudes and job satisfaction, for example. These are all linked, so if you click on them, they will also help you filter your results list. Just by doing that, we've gotten down to 8. So we've gone the other way. Now we have a little too few. You notice that there are also other filters on the side that might be helpful depending on what kind of project you're working on. Something that we work with the international psychology students a lot with is geography. Oftentimes finding things from a particular region is difficult as opposed to putting this, like for example, the United States in as a search term. You can just use the filter here. There is also a gender filter, which is something that would be really helpful for this kind of search. We can just, for example, have used workplace and leadership and then filtered by gender. That would be really helpful for us. Now, when we're in the various databases, you'll notice that it's listed when there's full text. Something to point out that some of them do have HTML as well. These are really interesting because these also filter a text-to-talk. You can also download it, which means you can essentially listen to your reading during your commute or during your workout or during whatever else you're doing that maybe having a book or an article isn't conducive. You can keep on working. Always helpful to kind of cut corners a little, multitask. For things that do not have full text, you'll notice that there are these buttons here that say check SFX for full text or check 360 link for full text. These are little shortcuts that we've embedded in the databases so you don't have to go and recreate this in the library catalog to see if maybe we have the full text somewhere else. You can just click on it and it will search across all of the other databases to see if we do have full text somewhere else. It looks like we don't, unfortunately. However, we can get this for you through our interlibrary loan program. And again, it just links to it right here on this same page. Request document via the Chicago School Library ILLiad logon. Click the little go button. It'll take you there. If you've never used ILLiad before, you would click on this first-time users. It's going to tell you a little bit about it. You'd go to first-time users, click here, and you'd fill out this form. You're going to want to make sure that you choose the home library that you're closest to if you're thinking about requesting print books. We offer articles, book chapters, both of those are delivered electronically, and then print books. So you would go ahead and select the campus that you would like to go and pick your print books up from. Now this service is completely free to you. This is something that we work on all day, every day at every campus. trying to track things down for people. If you do have any specific questions about ILLiad, let's say you've put a request in and you haven't heard anything, or you're not sure if you have enough information to make a request, feel free to reach out to a campus. We can help walk you through the process. Not a problem. I'm going to go ahead and log into mine just to show you what it looks like. Now, if you remember, I got to this through one of the databases, and so it very kindly went ahead and populated the form for the article that I am actually looking for, which makes my life a little bit easier. It's all right here, and I would go ahead and click Submit Request. Again, this is completely free to you. This is a service that we absorb any cost for, so you can ignore this cash payment. You will not be charged. Let's say that you found something just on the internet and it's prompting you to pay for it. I'd also recommend that you go ahead and you try to submit a request through ILLiad to see if we can track it down for you before you go ahead and pay for it. We have a really high hit rate, and we take a lot of pride in doing this. So please do check with us before you go ahead and just purchase articles. Articles and book chapters. Articles take a couple hours to a couple days to arrive. Book chapters take a couple days to arrive. Like I said, both of those are delivered electronically. You would just get an email prompting you to log into ILLiad. You can go ahead and click on electronically received articles. I don't have any right now, but you would see some PDFs here once they've arrived. They only stay in the system for 30 days, but they're PDFs. You can just save them to your computer and have them for however long you want. You can also go ahead and re-request things over time. I do that. I'll forget to save it, and so I'll just come to my all requests, and I can go ahead and find whatever I was looking for and then resubmit it. Filling out the new request over here on the side, photocopy is a holdover for articles from back in the day when the other library would have to pull the journal off the shelf and actually photocopy and then put it in the mail. That doesn't happen anymore. It is electronically delivered. So photocopy means article. Book is for a physical book. And again, you can just fill out the information as much as you know and then hit Submit Request. Books can take up to a week to arrive because they do come through the postal service. Also depends on what you're looking for, how obscure it is, if it's really old or really new, how many people have it available. The longest I've seen something take is from Hawaii. It was a book from the 1800s, so it took us a couple days to find a place that had it and was willing to lend it. And then once they shipped it, the total time was 10 days for it to arrive. This is not something that you should do the day before your papers due. However, it is a really important way to fill the gap on the resources that we don't have. And for big, important projects, particularly dissertations, this is a resource that you're going to want to utilize as much as possible. You can also get to this through the library catalog. For things that we don't have available, if you click on the title, things are still loading. If you scroll down, there is this button, Request Item through ILLiad. And like I said, it's also embedded in all of our databases. So there are several ways that you can get to it. It's also on the website in a number of different places. Again, we're on this page, Find Articles and Journals. If you scroll down, you can see there's a box here with instructions as well as a link. Any other questions or any questions on this piece?
Hi, Jillian. Yeah, there were a couple, but I was able to answer them because I've used it many times, and let me share with you, it's fabulous. And you can get online copies. What you do is you fill out the form like Jillian just shared with you, send it in, and usually in less than a day, I have an email response of here's a link to the article you need. So use it. It's great. And there is a comment here from Alicia. Excellent explanation, Jillian.
Oh, thank you very much. ILLiad can be a little confusing if it's your first time navigating it. We don't expect you to have all the answers, so if something goes awry with it, definitely reach out. I get emails all the time from people that say, something happened and this was canceled, can you tell me why? And I can explain, we can kind of dig into the details. You know, we didn't have enough information, or it was something that came out yesterday, so it's not available yet. And we can talk about options for how to find things like that. One last thing I want to go over in EBSCO is particular to the dissertation process. Along the way, you're going to have to start thinking about your methodology and your structure. And EBSCO is the only database that has filters for both methodology as well as tests and measures. You can find them also here on the left-hand side. You can click on them and you can see, you can click on this word and you can see how many of these articles are different types of studies. So for example, 43 of the results on this list are quantitative. 19 are interviews. 19 are qualitative. You can also go ahead and filter that in the advanced search. If you scroll all the way to the bottom here, this very long list, you can see that there's a methodology piece here. You can always limit right from the beginning what kind of study you're interested in. Let's say that you're more interested in the type of study and maybe not the content. So you can kind of have a really broad subject search word just so you can see the different kinds of studies. And you can see how other people have applied that methodology to their study and how that might work for you. You can also see then specific kinds of tests and measures that people have used. It's particularly if you're working with a certain kind of test or a certain kind of scale and you're looking for things that are maybe comparable, this is a really great tool to use. I really can't emphasize enough how searching across this is really, really helpful in terms of thinking about the different actual tests that are available to you and kind of how they compare to other things. So with that, now we're going to move to the next step in the research process. So you've gone through the library catalog, you've checked through EBSCO, starting to think about your search terms, you're feeling really confident about that, you've got a bunch of scholarly, peer-reviewed articles that is, kind of anchoring your literature review. Next step is to check and see what other people have done for their dissertation. This is the data, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt, it's Paula, but I have a couple of questions about looking for articles.
Yeah.
So this would be a good place.
Absolutely.
From Aaron, times when searching, it appears that the article is available, but when I click on it, I get a login to Sage in order to get the text. Am I doing something wrong?
We were having some intermittent issues right before school started where things were just being kind of funky. So if you haven't seen that recently, that might be what it is. What I would recommend doing is you can go straight into Sage if that's a database that you're particularly interested in. Or if you'd rather just use the library catalog, you can go ahead and select Chicago Library as the library to search if you're looking for electronic materials. This is the only library, campus library, that we haven't had any electronic issues with. We're working on, we think we've stabilized the DC and LA issues, but we're still working through a few things. So if you want to just not deal with any of the hassles and you're not looking for print materials, just go ahead and select the Chicago Library in this drop-down, and you shouldn't have any problem.
You stated that she could, that anyone could go straight to the Sage database. Do you need a special login to do that?
No, that will still be your Chicago credentials, your Chicago School credentials.
Okay, great. Thank you. From Jean Hartman, can I search by action research studies? And if yes, can you do one for us, please?
Sure. So I do not believe that that is a specific type of methodology that is broken out in EBSCO. Let's take a look here. No, I didn't think so. Theirs are pretty big. But what you can do, you can always go ahead and put it into, scrolling up here, you can put it in as a search term. So I think that EBSCO has a lot of really great resources this way that you can search for the type of methodology. However, this might be a little bit better to do is to take a look at other people's dissertations and see how they've done that. I think you'll get more hits because more people will talk about it because they're going to go into such detail in their dissertations that I think that you'll get more results as opposed to actually doing it in EBSCO. So let's try it in EBSCO, though, and see how many hits we get. You said action research, right? I feel like there was maybe another word in there.
Correct, action research.
Okay. So we do have 10,000. This is pretty broad. There are some books about it, which is pretty helpful. That might be really something to consider. But we will notice here that in our subjects, it is listed as an actual recognized subject term. So you should, once that's an indicator that it's going to be something that's a very common word, that people have agreed on the kind of the use of it, it's going to be pretty common for you to find. So using it as a search term will bring you back a larger number of results. Is that helpful?
Let me see if I get a response while we wait for that. Yes, thank you. That was helpful. From Amy, a question, do you have to click on both to see if the article is available somewhere else? And Amy, I'm not sure what you mean by both. Do you mean FS?
Yeah, I think she means SFX and 360. No, you can just click on one. Most of the time you'll see the SFX, but sometimes you will only see the 360 link. 360 link is particular to ProQuest. So it doesn't matter. As long as you see one, you can click on it.
Great. Thank you, Jillian. You're all caught up with your questions right now.
Great. So with that, let's move on to ProQuest. Coming back to the library website, again, on this Find Books, Media, and Articles drop-down, Find Articles and Journals. It's listed here. It's actually listed twice. ProQuest here and ProQuest here. We do get two types of things from this database, from ProQuest, articles as well as dissertations, which is why it's listed twice. Articles will come up in a general library catalog search. Dissertations will not. So you can go ahead and put in search terms here, psychology and women and leadership. I'm going to use the filters here on the left side to go ahead and narrow it down to dissertation and theses. And I'm also going to go ahead and make it a lot more relevant. So ProQuest is the largest publisher of dissertations in the world. They have 70,000 every year. They are the official Library of Congress repository. So pretty much every dissertation, unless someone goes out of their way to have it not included, is automatically included in ProQuest. They certainly publish the Chicago School's dissertations. So one day all of your dissertations may be in here. And this is what a results list looks like. You can, of course, kind of go through, scan through the list and see what's applicable. But the thing that I really like about it is that if you click on either the title or any of these buttons down here, it will take you into a record, and it will have the references built out as a tab. So if you find a dissertation that is pretty applicable to what you're doing, you can take a look at the reference pages, and you have 227 resources that you can then use to further your own research. They have some built-in things that are also pretty nice. It has a cited by button. You can also see it's going to link to, this all should have it. It looks like there's a problem with this. But it will have this button that checks, oh, I'm sorry. The reason why these don't is because they're web links. Anything that's not a web link, that's not freely available on the internet, it's going to have this check 360 link. You can see if we have the article in one of our databases. Unfortunately, we don't. You can't always request this through interlibrary loan, though. But you can then work through this list of references to see if there's anything that can help further your research as well. I think this is a really, really great resource to use. There are no other questions about that. There's a couple of bells and whistles that are built into the databases that also make your life a little bit easier. Most of them have this cite button. If you click on this, you will get, I have it set to APA, you will get a generated citation. Makes your life a little bit easier. You can also see this in EBSCO. Cite. Gives you a bunch of different versions, and you can scroll down and get APA. You can also email things to yourself, save things, but it also has an export button. The library pays for a citation management software called Refworks for every student to have. It's just another way to kind of keep yourself organized. As you go through, the grad school process, you're going to generate a lot of information. And this is one way to kind of keep it organized. So in this case, I'm in EBSCO. I'm going to export this record into Refworks to add to my own personal library of articles that are relevant to my research. Like Iliad, if you've never used it before, you want to sign up for a new account. For both services, it's just because these are remembering information that are specific to you, so it's another layer on top of your Chicago School credentials. I do have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And it is going to tell me, hey, I just imported something. Do you want to see it? I can take a look at my last import. Here's that article that I just sent over. I can make notes on this. I can move it to a folder that I've created. I prefer to use folders based on subjects because I will reuse things. However, you might want to do it by class or by paper, something like that. You can also go back a step and take a look at all of your references at once. This is my list of things that I've imported in here over time. Like I said, you can make notes on it. You can kind of reorganize things. You can also select things. Got 4 things here picked. You can go over to this quick access on the right-hand side and go to Create Bibliography. Yes, I want it in APA. It doesn't open automatically for me, but if I click down here, there is my ready-made reference list. Now, I would definitely recommend double-checking these. I've certainly found issues. I take a quick look. This one doesn't look too bad, but sometimes the issues are pretty glaring. However, I do think that double-checking a list of references is easier than doing it from scratch. There are lots of citation management softwares out there, and if this is something that is appealing to you, you can take a look at the other options. This is the only one that the Chicago School pays for and provides to you. There are other ones that are both free and paid. I know a popular one on campus is Mendeley, and they all do vaguely different things. If you're on the library website and you come to the How Do I page, there is a box for Manage Your Research. We talk a little bit about Refworks, and we also have a PDF comparing the different tools. The reason why Mendeley is a little bit more popular on campus is because you can also store the PDF in the system, which means you would have all of your research, both citations and the actual documents, in one place. It also has a Word plugin, and so it can manage your your in-text citations right in your dissertation, which it's a huge, people can be a huge fan of it. But that one is also paid per month. It's about $6 a month. Any questions on Refworks and using Refworks?
Yes, actually, I have a few questions here for you, please.
Great.
Going back to searches from Jean, no need to apologize, Jean, but she's writing, sorry to keep using action research. How about locating leading journals for action research?
Sure. So there are 2 things that I would recommend if you're looking for journals and then you'd like to be able to browse through those journals. If you come back to the library website, on this Find Books, Media, and Articles, Find Articles and Journals page, you'll notice that we have a quick search. So you can just put in action research. It is set to contain, so any journal that has that phrase. And let's see what we get. Get a few things here, and you can see there's just an action research, International Journal of Action Research. You can hit the information button and get some information about it. You can also click on it. And you can do some searching this way. I think as far as just browsing journals, my particular preference is to go to the publisher's website. Most of them do have some abstracts that are archived that you can browse through, or you can look at table of contents, and most of them also have search boxes. And that can be really helpful just to kind of browse through and see things that are applicable. Another thing you can do is if you go into the SAGE database in particular, and you do a search, You can also get to it through, there was a button that just said Browse Journal Titles. You'll get a list of content, but then there'll be a tab over here on the side that says Journal Title Results, and you can link to things here. So I think that it's also linking to that Action Research Journal that we just saw. But I think if you were to put in maybe a similar word or just action, you could generate even more. And then you would be able to click through them here and browse. I also never knock Google Scholar. More and more is available on the web today. And there's a lot of universities that are really moving towards an open access model. So searching in Google Scholar for things like this can turn up a breadth of information. So putting in words like action research and seeing where people have published, some of them may be open access and maybe not through any of the databases that we have subscriptions to, will be a huge advantage for you. I hope that answered your question, Jean.
Thank you, Jillian. Another question from Maria. I have tried to export to Refworks and it doesn't work. What should I do?
Maybe can you email me directly with a screenshot and we can take a look at why? Because let me just recreate what I did just to make sure that the steps are clear. When you're in a record that you're looking to export, you're going to go ahead and click on this export button. Make sure it's set to direct export to Refworks. Save. And then it's prompting me for it's opening a new tab. Now you saw me log in before, so that's why it's going straight here, but it will take you to a login page. If you've never used Refworks before, you do have to create an account, otherwise it won't work. But as long as you have, then you can go ahead and log in, and then this will come up. For a lot of the databases, you also want to make sure that, that you're checking for pop-ups occasionally, because most of the time, once you only get your prompt for your Chicago School credentials once, but every once in a while it'll come up again. And so you want to make sure that you're seeing that and you're entering your credentials, because if you don't, you just won't be able to get into whatever you're trying to access. It may not always be as clear as you'd like. It may just seem like it's not working, but really it just doesn't recognize the fact that you're a subscription holder and that you do get access. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to email me directly. You can find my email on the website, but I can also post it in the chat, and you can send me some screenshots and we can kind of troubleshoot through what might be the actual issue if none of this works.
Thank you, Jillian. Next question from Mary, and Mary, I may need to ask you to clarify because I know we were discussing this. I just want to make sure that your question is clear. Mary is asking, are you saving the article or just the citation?
So Refworks saves only the citation. There are other citation management tools that do save the PDF, like Mendeley. Refworks does not, unfortunately. So that would be something where you can make a note maybe of the database that you got it from, and you can go back and get that later. You can always save the PDF from the database into a folder on your computer, something like that. But in Refworks, it is the citation only.
Thank you very much, Jillian. Another question from Jean. How long can Refworks keep your article searches?
How long? It will keep it until you graduate, and I believe a year afterwards. It's not quite forever, but it's definitely what you can. I have things in here from when I started. So some of these articles are a couple of years old.
Great, thank you. Hang on, I'm just, from Amy, if I find a small journal article, can I export the whole bibliography for later, or do I have to click on each one?
That's a really good question. Unfortunately, right now, you have to click on each one. It's a bummer. I know. I don't like that either, and I did write in with a suggestion for that.
Okay, we're caught up for questions for right now, Jillian. Thank you.
Great. Well, we're coming to the end of the content that I wanted to cover. Coming back to my slideshow here. Oh, frozen a little bit. I overwhelmed it with information. I just will then, I'm going to go back to the library website. I just want to reiterate again that we're here to help Some of you have asked specific questions, which is fabulous. I'm sure some of you have specific questions that maybe you didn't ask. Please do feel free to reach out. And what we can do is if anyone is interested in having a one-on-one appointment, we can go through the steps that I just highlighted, but we can do them with your actual subject terms. And we can kind of create, help you create a list of resources that are specific to the topic that you're working on. And again, on any of the library homepages, you can find contact information. So here, I'm on both the Chicago campus as well as the online campus. You can just click on this. It'll take you right into emailing me. But aside from that, that's what I have to cover today. If anyone has any other questions, please do let me know.
Yes, Amy has another good one.
Good, I like it, yeah.
So if we never graduate, we are good forever in using Refworks?
Yes, if you never graduate. Although if you never graduate, we might have to talk in general. You will graduate. It will happen.
I agree. That's why I copied, and that's why she typed in LOL, just kidding. Backing up just a little bit, Stephanie is asking a question. Sorry, I missed how to get to Refworks. Is the link on the search page?
Yes, it is. So you can also get to it just through the library website. I have some quick links here on the online page. Things are oftentimes in multiple places just so that you don't have to, you can click around and find things pretty easily. So you can just grab it here and it'll open up and sign in and you can put things in because you might have found something on just freely available on the internet that you want to remember, so you can include it that way. It is also on the How Do I page, manage your research, and there's a button here. However, I think it's way more helpful to access it through the actual databases. It's slightly different in each database, but it's in a vaguely different place, but you're just looking for a word that says export. In EBSCO, it's over here on the right-hand side. You can click export. It's going to prompt you to direct export to Refworks, save, and then off it goes. And I can see it by clicking this View Last Imported Folder. And then there's my item. And again, you can see it's just a citation, but you can always make comments on it. You can adjust things a little bit. You can talk about where you got it from, what it's helpful for, and then you can put it in folders. But it's not going to save the actual PDF. Other citation management softwares do that, but not Refworks.
Okay, I have another question. And Janet, I'm sorry, I should have asked this sooner. Your question is this displaying one article? I'm not sure to what you're referring at this point.
If you're talking about in here in Refworks, this is just showing my last imported because I only moved over one article, but I can click on references here and it will take me to my complete list. This is a list of everything I've exported over the course of time. Did that answer your question, Janet?
Let's see. Yes, she's saying yes.
Okay, great.
I was wondering, I'm getting some questions on Mendeley. Is it possible for you, Jillian, to show a quick demonstration of how students can just pull articles?
We can. Yeah, I don't have a Mendeley account because I use Refworks. But if you just come to the Mendeley website, you can sign up for a free account and it'll do pretty much anything that Refworks does. You do have to, if you scroll to the bottom here, you do have to sign up for the premium version in order to get the storage option, which is where you can actually save the PDF. So it's $5 a month, $55 per year, and you can see that all of the options that you get for it.
I believe there's a free program for students because I actually have Mendeley and I'm not paying anything. I'm a student. So so there is a free version, but it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles. The free version is really similar to Refworks.
So if you want all of the storage options and the Word plugin and all of that, that I believe is all part of the premium package, which costs, but the free one is still really great too. And again, you would just use this export button. It doesn't have a specific Refworks breakout, but I want to say I did it once with a student, and I believe that we moved it over to generic bibliographic management software, and it went into Mendeley.
Okay, hang on one second. Let me go through some of these. From Joyce, she's stating, most of my searches have come up with no matches. What do you think I'm doing wrong?
You might be searching really specific terms. In that case, you might want to just take a step back and start really broadly. You might just want to start with just one word. Start there, take a look at how other people are talking about it, see if you should adjust that word a little bit. For example, like we were searching on women, we might want to switch that to female, and that would increase our results. You can do that, and then you can kind of add in a couple of other search terms. It is possible that you are looking into something that just doesn't have a lot of relevant research yet. And if you're working on your dissertation, that can be a really good thing. That means you found that gap in research that you're going to plug. So you might want to then take a step back and instead of thinking about the actual searching, think about strategy. Think about what contextual information you would need to really frame your research. In that case, you might need a variety of articles on kind of slightly different things in order to really provide that context to the original research that you're working on. If you want, though, why don't you shoot me an email with just your topic or your question that you're working on, and I can do some searching and send you back some suggestions.
Great, Jillian, thank you. Let's see, Carrie Ann. So does Mendeley keep actual articles as well as being able to perform the citing ability?
Absolutely. That's the benefit to Mendeley. And I do think, although Paula, you might know better, I think that you have to have the premium version in order to save the PDF.
Actually, you can save the PDF in there, but as far as citing, with the version that I have, it won't export a citation for me.
Okay, so then you do. I knew that there were some differences in the free version versus the premium. So that if you have the premium, then you can both save the actual PDF. You can have all of your research in one place, as well as be able to export it and then do all the citations. And that's where you get the Word plugin. So you go through a couple steps, and then it's added into your Microsoft Word account. And then when you start creating your bibliography in Word, it will help you manage both the references at the end as well as the in-text citations.
Yeah, the value that I have found with Mendeley is it really does help you in organizing your articles into themes. And it gives you a place to do an easy search. Because if you, for example, just download a PDF file onto your computer, at least mine, and conduct a search, it doesn't go into the PDF file to find those. So that's what's nice about Mendeley. It'll actually pull out the title, the author, the year. So it's really nice, and it's just a matter of click and drag. And that's just what it does for the version that I have as a student.
I can't emphasize enough how great citation management softwares are. I use it. I do a lot of bibliographic work, though, where I'm oftentimes organizing lists, or people have asked me to find things that are simply titles. And so I can do a search in the databases, in the catalog, and then I can dump it into Refworks and then get organized after the fact. It's really fabulous. It's a matter of getting in the habit for it. Same thing with saving your files in any way. You want to save it like it's 4 in the morning and you're exhausted. You don't want to save it as, psychology version 2. You want to be clear. You want to have a date in there. You want to make sure that you're really keeping things organized, and it'll be a benefit to you in the long run.
I agree. And a comment from Allie, she writes, I have the $4.99 student Mendeley account. It's fairly new to me, but I love it so far. The in-text citation extension and saving and organizing full PDFs is absolutely worth the monthly fee. Thank you for that input.
Ask
and Allie,
early
work for
Mendeley.
Mendeley.
An early Christmas present, everyone, or whatever else you celebrate.
I was just kidding, Allie. Okay, I have a question. We're kind of running out of time, so what I'd like to do is just read some of the comments. And let's see, Allie, you asked a question, and what you'll be able to do is review the recording of this on the NCAID YouTube page, so you'll be able to get your question answered at that time. Okay, thank you from Jean. Thanks, this was very helpful. Just looking for the comments for you, Jillian. Oh, here's a question from Janet. Does the library help with Turnitin?
Oh, I'm sorry. It took me a second to think about what that was. We don't, but I believe that you guys do, right, Paula?
Say again?
Do you help with Turnitin? I mean, we don't specifically help with the actual software. If you're asking questions about how to navigate in it, that's not something that I have a lot of expertise in, but I can always help direct you to the right person. But Paula, you might be able to answer that a little bit better if you guys help with that.
I'd like to get clarification from Jenna, but she's left. So Turnitin is primarily a program that searches the World Wide Web to find similarities of information. So the best way to not ever have to worry about a Turnitin report is to share the meaning of information as opposed to copying information or even just changing a few words. By sharing the meaning of the information that you've read, that is what's really going to help you learn. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. Here's
great.
Thank you. Awesome. This has been a fabulous presentation. Thank you so much. I learned so many things. Thank you. Thank you from Jerry. Oh, Amy, nice to see you again as well. Fantastic job, Jillian and Paula. Oh, thank you, Belinda. Say that. This was extremely helpful from Jessica. Thank you so much. Amy is off to Mendeley. Thank you from Winter. This was extremely helpful. I wish I'd known all this information a long time ago. Well, I'm glad you know it now.
Yes.
Go forth and research. Jillian, thank you so much. But before I let everybody go, I'd like to go over a couple things with you. Let me share my screen with you. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Well, I guess, where will this be posted? It's going to be posted on the NCAID YouTube page. Okay, these are just some of the upcoming NCAID webinars. We have, let's see, on Tuesday, October 16th, we have an academic support, review of academic support programs. Later in October, on the 13th and 14th, we have methodology experts available. On Monday, we're going to have an NCAID review for National Day on Writing webinar, so everybody please be sure to at least go to that one, if not all of them. In fact, I encourage you to go to all of them. And then Tuesday the 20th, dissertation writing experts will chat about the dissertation, and it'll be like a helpline. So these are just some upcoming NCAID webinars, and I strongly encourage you to attend. These are put into place to assist people, to assist students with writing, putting together their theses, their dissertations, and with my experience with other colleges, this is the only one that has this level of support for students. Let me, I think there's a page down on this. There we go. For general information, please know that you can contact NCAID. NCAID is there to support all students at the Chicago School of Professional Psychology. So please use us. That's what we're there for. It's no extra cost. We're there. Use us. Take advantage of it. Are there any additional questions that I can help anybody with, or any additional questions for Jillian?
Thank you so much, Paula.
Well, thank you so much, Jillian. I really appreciate your time. You've not only been a help to everybody here today, but to me in putting together, like I said, a course I've been developing. Let's see. We've got a thank you so much. Thanks for all the helpful information. This is from Kim. Let's see. What's the focus of the writing webinar? Maybe, Belinda, do you have a comment on that? Do you have any more specifics about the writing webinar? Let's see. Will the session be given again? Well, it won't likely be. Oh, thank you, Ellen. She's responding. Ellen, you're the best. There are just so many comments in here. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much. Let's see. Thank you both. This was great. Where will this be posted? On the NCAID YouTube page. And actually, Kim, if you want to send an email to either me or Professor Grant, I'm at pchenoweth@thechicagoschool.edu. I'll follow up on that. And from Jean, thanks everyone. From Kevin, thank you both. This was great. From Monica, thank you. Okay, we're a little over time, but again, Jillian, thank you so much for your time. Professor Grant, thank you for your assistance with this. You're always so helpful in catching things that I don't and setting all these up for. So everybody have a wonderful evening and hope to see you on the next Professional Development Seminar.